Hello, this is Chris Crawford, owner of Digital Treasure Video. I'm going to show you some footage I've taken over the past 10 years that I've put together for our annual lake vacation. We go there every year, and it's made up of a bunch of different photos and videos I've taken over the past 10 years or so. So some of the footage looks a little better than others, depending on what kind of camera I was using at the time. This is a good example of zooming. Zoom out from things. I will zoom in on the subject, press record, then pull back. And I love catching the sun blinking off the water. You'll see a lot of that, a lot of reflections, a lot of blinking of the sun. I like to do that. I just think it makes the video look more interesting. One thing that I always see people do is when they're videotaping their children, they do it from standing up. And they're shooting down at their kids and they're shooting at the top of their heads. I like to shoot them more at eye level. Show the world from their perspective. It's always better to shoot from eye level. Now here I was inside the cabin, I saw my kids looking at this spider, so I stepped outside, shut the door, and I could see their faces and the spider. Always keep in mind what the camera is capturing. It doesn't always see what you're seeing. We want to be very conscious of what your final image is going to look like, because that's all you're going to see whenever you watch it later on TV. You're not going to see everything that you were seeing when you were there. You're only going to see what the camera saw, so you need to be conscious of that. Water is very smooth here, so I can get away with shooting while driving. Probably not the smartest thing, but... And we like to add slow motion to whatever we can. Always makes it look more dramatic. Backwards works, coming out of the water there. Here's another zoom, pull out. I don't like to zoom in on things. It's hard to keep the camera steady. And I like to reveal things when I zoom out, so that makes it more interesting for the viewer. These are the still photos. We can pan, we can zoom in on the photos, add effects between pictures. Here I just told my kids to run into the water because I knew they would laugh, I knew the water would splash, and I also knew that in slow motion it would look great. It takes a little bit of forward thinking. When you're shooting, you kind of are shooting something and you think to yourself, hey, if I edit it together this way, it'll look great. Close-ups of children's faces, especially when they're young. Excellent. Here we are, another zooming out. This is a photograph, obviously. You always want to be keeping the viewer interested. Like you're going to show them something with this pan or with this zoom. The zoom or pan is going to reveal something that they weren't aware was there. Here's a good example of shooting something from low angle. Even though this was shot 10 years ago on an old 8mm camera, changed it to widescreen, changed that format, slowed it down, still looks pretty cool. Quick snap of the shutter and I capture my son in midair. Now, sunsets, they look great. I love shooting sunsets, water. Just make sure you have your camera set on some sort of sunset function and use your flash if you have a subject in front of you. Otherwise, your subject's going to be all dark. Depending on what kind of camera you have, you can make these adjustments. They're pretty simple and you can usually find them in the menu. This shot here was about 2 seconds originally, and I slowed it down to 1/4 speed, slow motion, 8 seconds. When I'm on a boat and it's nice and smooth like this, I want to capture the experience of being on the boat. And I'll stand up and take a shot that lasts 30 seconds, maybe even 40 seconds. And it doesn't matter. I mean, you may not watch all 40 seconds when you're watching all the footage, but there'll be places where you can slow it down or speed it up, and you'll capture things that you didn't necessarily think were there the first time. And it just makes the video look great. I mean, this shot right here, the whole thing was shaky, but I had about a 1 second spot where it was steady enough that I could do something with it, and I slowed it down and made it about 4 seconds. Here I tilt the camera just because I think it looks interesting. You know, play around, experiment. And as you can see, this is all sped up real fast. It looks cool. The water's rushing past him and he's all confused, like, when are we gonna get home? He's having a great time, at least I was. There's the sun blinking again, and the sun coming off the water here. Look how bright that is. I mean, in that shot, I can color the water. I can make the water look, you know, bluer than it was. I can raise up the contrast. And here we are close up again. Now, these shots, some of them I took with my video camera just by pressing the photo button while I was shooting. It had a much quicker shutter speed and response rate than my regular camera, but if you have a DSLR or something nice, you might be able to get something better than that. Good light here. See how the sun's right on him. Here I'm shooting my daughter at eye level, not down at her, once again. Footage is starting to look a little better. Here's a good example of zooming, pulling out from my daughter to show my son in the water there. And here I see the sun blinking in the trees again. Love it. If I didn't do this, I would never be on my own videos. So sometimes I like to point it at me. Here, I just love the way the shore stuck out in both directions. Tiny little humans at the bottom. Another zoom out. Here's just a shot of blinking water. Cool. You can see here the camera is like down low, so it kind of captures what my son's looking at. You know, I'm not standing above him, I'm kind of getting his perspective. Forward thinking. Here's a pan down from the sun to show my buddies in the boat with me. This is another video camera. Still photos taken with the video camera. It's hard to shoot on a boat when the water's moving. The camera tends to bounce up and down. Here's a mirror, shooting in the mirror. I love the foot captured in the light right here. That's cool. And you can see this is black and white. I've brought up the contrast to make it look more dramatic. Pretty much all the same rules for photography apply for videography as well. Good light, eye level, and something interesting to look at. Big splashes. What is that? Oh, it's a water skier. And I love doing stuff where it's normal speed and then boom, slow motion, crash. Pretty cool. Now here's something shot at high angle, but it's just something I tried out and thought it looked neat, so I took the opportunity. And if your boat's bouncing up and down, hey, try bouncing up and down with the camera. And you know, I slowed it down, looked pretty good. You can get away with a lot of good stuff with slow motion. As I said before, a shot may only last 1 second, but if it's good, this one for example, slowed it down quite a bit. It was originally only 1 second. Here I kind of made the chrome of the boat like frame out the shot. Just thought it looked neat. Always be looking for neat things to make your video look interesting. And I think this is the end of the video. This is the first time my son actually got up on water skis, so, and of course he didn't stay up too long. Okay, well that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. This is Chris Crawford with Digital Treasure Video. Your memories become movies. Happy shooting.